odds. Get them.
Oh, I like that. A little gambling tip. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're such a bad influence, you heathen.
Back here talking Bucks Raptors with Vinny Goodwill. Remember when this was Milwaukee's series to lose?
Yeah,
well,
remember that, Nick? It still is.
This one's up for grabs now. Toronto took down Milwaukee 120-102 last night to even up the series at 2 games apiece. With a hobbled Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry led the way for Toronto, scored 25 points, while their bench finally showed up, scored more than twice as much as the Bucks bench unit. The series shifts back to Milwaukee now for Game 5 on Thursday. Here's Kawhi after the game.
I feel good. Keep going and keep fighting. We have a chance to, make history.
And this is one of the nights that, we knew Kawhi was a little bit limited, and we had to come out and be aggressive for him. And the great thing about having him on your team is he still gets all the attention. And we fed off of that, drive, kick, swing. He gets in the lane, kick out, and, that's the benefit of having a superstar like him on the team.
We still got to get better, and I'm sticking that game plan. Just got to play with more energy, execute better. But, our feeling is the same. It doesn't change. They did their job. They protected the home, and we got to do our job now.
All right, Vinny, how did the Raptors do it? How'd they even up this series despite Kawhi's injury?
Well, surprisingly, you don't associate Toronto Raptors with being a tougher team. But with Norman Powell, with Marc Gasol, with Serge Ibaka, they have out-toughed Milwaukee to a large degree. And this is where the series that playing against Philadelphia and going through that adversity has helped you. Going down 2-0, this has been a cakewalk for Milwaukee virtually through here. Boston spontaneously combusted after winning that first game. And they went through an easy sweep against Detroit. So now this is the first piece of, this team is going to fight back. Where Toronto went through that fight against Philadelphia, and Milwaukee hasn't gone through this. They haven't been through this at all in their playoff history, with Giannis being the first guy. This is the first time they've gotten out of the first round. So I think this is a little bit of adversity for them, and they didn't know how to respond last night. I still think they win the series. I actually had them winning in 5. So last night was a little bit of a shock to me, where Game 4s are usually where you see the better team assert that they're the better team. Even if they lose the game, they wind up showing that they're the better team. We still don't know who the better team is, or at least the better team hasn't identified itself.
Well, you mentioned the word adversity, and that reminds me of the last time the Raptors were in this exact position. They were facing a team in the 2016 Cavs, you know the quote I'm going to go to, that had won 10 straight games start the postseason, went up 2-0 on the Raptors. Much like the Bucks had won 10 of 11 games start this postseason, go up 2-0 on the Raptors. And then the Raptors in 2016, much like this year, win the next 2 games at home. And LeBron and that 2016 Cavs team, LeBron's asked about facing adversity. And LeBron just very almost flippantly said, yeah, I've faced a lot of adverse situations in my career. This isn't one of them. And they went on to win games 5 and 6 by a combined 64 points en route to beating the Warriors in the championship. Now, I do not think Milwaukee's going to win the next 2 games by a combined 64 points. But if they are the team I believe them to be, which is the best team in the league, with the MVP of the league, with a guy playing at a higher level over the course of the season and the playoffs than anyone in the league in Giannis Antetokounmpo, then they should win games 5 and 6 en route to the NBA Finals. But every team does have to, at some point, face a level of adversity en route to their first title, en route to their first championship. Golden State had to do it when they were down 2-1 to Memphis and then down 2-1 again to the Cavs minus Kyrie and Love. We saw the Cavs have to deal with it when they were down 3-1 to Golden State, or the Heat down 3-2 to Boston after having lost an NBA Finals. We can go down the list. The Lakers at the beginning of their dynasty, down 15 in the 4th quarter of a Game 7 just to get to their first NBA Finals. Like, you've got to go through a level of adversity. The question is, how will Milwaukee respond? What some people are, I think, concerned with is Milwaukee after the game said, we're just going to keep doing what we do, which is what we've done all year. We don't need to make any major adjustments. Toronto sees that, I'm sure, and says, okay, if you're going to keep doing what you're going to do, we're going to do what we did these 2 games in Toronto, see if it still gives you those fits. I trust what Milwaukee's built, but last night was a night where I did expect Milwaukee to win that game, to assert themselves and take control of that series. And Toronto was in control essentially after the first 3 minutes the entire rest of the way.
Can we talk about Kawhi? Is anyone worried about Kawhi now? He played 52 minutes, then he came back, he played last night with a bothered leg. Are you worried about him moving forward?
I'm worried about them winning the series. If you ask me the question, can Raptors win this series with Kawhi being less than 100%? I don't think so, because I believe it's going to go 7 games, and I believe in one of those fourth quarters in Milwaukee, Kawhi is going to have to be a superstar because the whistle is not going to go to the younger players, and you can't depend on the others. But the one thing I have seen with Kawhi last night that would have to give you a lot of confidence, because regardless, and I see this with coaches all the time, regardless of a player's injured, if you have a game plan, they don't get off that game plan. So I do believe that Kawhi will continue, because there's 18 players that have defended Giannis at least 10 possessions this postseason. No one has held him to a lower field goal percentage than Kawhi. He's defended them 94 times. He's shooting 30%. Now, Kawhi showed you last night, I might not have the spring on the offensive end, but I can still be one of the best defenders in basketball. I think that will continue. But is he able to recover enough in the next 6 days to allow him to be a 28 to 30 point scorer? Because that just comes off of him, not play design, just I'm getting ready to go out and score because I'm good at scoring the basketball. So I am concerned about that. But right now, Kyle Lowry is winning that point guard battle with Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe, 15.9 points during the regular season, getting about 8 right now in this series. To me, that is the difference. Does Bledsoe gain his shooting touch, wide open shots? He's missing those. If he's able to regain his touch, then Milwaukee will have that advantage that we thought that they had coming into the series.
Well, to me, for Kawhi, it's 2 points. One, this has been the load management season, and he hasn't played a stretch of 9 games or more since early December. He's working around like 20 right now. You're starting to see some of that wear and tear from him not having played, his body not being in that rhythm. The good thing about Kawhi is that his game is low maintenance, that he doesn't expend a lot of energy offensively. Even if he's limited, he's not trying to do a bunch of things with the ball. He's getting to a spot, he's rising up, he's taking his jumper. There's not a whole lot that you can do against him. So to me, I think he can still be effective because he doesn't exert unnecessary energy. I think your point about Kyle Lowry and Eric Bledsoe is well taken, because we don't expect Kyle Lowry to be a great playoff performer, and he has had 2 games in this series. Yes. Eric Bledsoe, the good thing about him is that George Hill and Malcolm Brogdon are behind him. They had bad games.
Right.
That's the problem.
I mean, the Bucks bench, which has been killing Toronto's bench in this series, got killed last night. Toronto had 3 guys off their bench score 15-plus points. Yes. I mean, Fred VanVleet showed up. Fred VanVleet in his previous 10 games was 7 of 44. He was 5 of 6 last night. In his previous 10 games, he had made 3 threes. He made 3 threes last night.
A lot of times you get a lucky bounce. He banks a 3-pointer. Yeah. Very, very lucky. First thing he's seen go in a long time, then he gets on this hot streak. So not only shooting, then he starts breaking down the defense, dishing, making assists. Now the Raptors are able to play at a different level.
One other note for Giannis. He's going to face these walls of defense in the postseason. And he's a willing passer and he's a good passer. But the way he broke through against Boston was, he said, I do not mind going to the line. I do not mind you fouling me, and I will beat you at the line. He's 18 free throws in one game, I think 19 free throws in another. He was 2 of 7 from the free throw line in game 3. That tells me 2 things. 1, he wasn't making them, but 2, he wasn't drawing the fouls because he wasn't making them. He airballed a free throw to start last night. He seemed to try to go around contact instead of through contact. He needs to be fine with guys fouling him and believe he can make those free throws. Mid-70s during the regular season, down to 66% in the postseason. He seems a little hesitant to go to the line. That's minimized some of his effectiveness.
He also need to realize there was no one like Kawhi Leonard on Boston's roster.
Correct.
So you need to be able to make some adjustments. What worked during the regular season doesn't always work in the postseason. Kawhi Leonard's been the most effective defender.
All right, we got a break there. Vinny, thanks so much for hanging with us today. Coming up is
did they give you some nicknames today, or you just
I'm not Vincent.
Yeah.
We're back after this.
Nick, what's his name?